Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. Today, we're gonna have a little fun with the sawmill and just get some stuff cut. Or just cut something. That's it. We're cutting something, which is no different than usual, but something quick and fun. So here is the current log pile, and I'm thinking for something quick and fun. There is some silver maple up in here. I have this crotch section of silver maple is just chilling here on top. It looks small. It looks small in the pile, but I get the feeling it's not quite as small as it looks. So we have sort of a main crotch section here. We got a small limb coming off the bottom there. And it's looks like it's a pretty decent size. So this chunk here came off of this log here somewhere. So this log's been sitting here for about 9 months now, and I'm gonna let it sit until next year so it has plenty of time to stain and discolor. So we'll see what something sitting for half that long looks like compared to this. This should have some staining, should have more of a blue shift from its whites, but what I really want out of this one is for it to shift fully to reds, yellows, and oranges, and that's gonna take at least a year, probably a year and a half to get to that point. So I think it'll be an interesting comparison to see what this looks like compared to what that looks like with the time difference in there and all of that. So this log here is about 4 feet in diameter here, where it kind of tapers in. Yeah, I think it's 17 feet long, 18 feet long, something like that. The crane that loaded it had it scaled at 11,000 pounds. So it's a big boy. And it's gonna be a fun one to cut. But for now, we're gonna cut this piece up here. And actually these two pieces here also came from this tree as well. So I got a pretty good amount of wood from this one log. So yeah, let's get this log down and get over to the saw and see if we can get a better look at it. Okay, that log is all nicely leveled out, and there's not a whole lot to note on this guy. Nothing really happening over here. We do have a nice crotch bulge thing going on here, so I'm thinking we'll have a nice crotch feather inside the wood as we get down into there a bit. We got this one small limb down here, which should produce some more kind of figure and stuff as we get further down into the log, and that's really about it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple log. The blade is 24 inches off the bed right now, and that's about at the diameter. So it's actually is kind of bigger than it looks at 2 feet in diameter. I think we're splaying to we're probably about 3 feet down here, something in there. So blade is set at 24, and that should come out right up in here into the bark and be a little bit into the wood on this side, and that should give us a nice solid flat cut. Flip this guy over and slice it up. Oh, we got ants. A lot of ants. I may be wrong about this. It looks like this is actually more of a bark inclusion, so there might not actually be any crotch figure. This void is pretty big, and especially with these ants in here, I'm guessing this is all bark inclusion and a void, and not that sweet crotch feather. But we'll see. Let's just see how we're doing for color and stuff. So this discoloration here is closer to what I'm trying to get that big log to look like. This one still has quite a bit of white in here, but you can see some of the blues and grays starting to come in. And this log actually has quite a bit of moisture still in it. I'm actually pretty surprised. It's pretty wet still for having sat for as long as it has. But imagine this, but an entire giant slab looking like that. Okay, we are ready to get going. So on this log, I think I'm going to use my log scale and cut everything at 2 pieces of 4/4, which is basically 9/4. This is kind of small. Normally on the bigger stuff, I'll cut 10 or 11, or the really big stuff ends up being 12/4. But for this, 9 is pretty good. So this is a 4/4 scale. So every number on this side, the left side of the scale, is one board that's 4/4 thick, and this is just the inch scale on this side. So if I go by even numbers, that'll give me 2 pieces of 4/4 plus the blade kerf that would have been in there, and that takes it to about approximately 2 3/8 inches thick, so a pretty good 9/4. So on the scale, all I have to do there is make sure I'm going in even number increments. So up here, I am at 20, which would provide 20 4/4 boards. Since we're doing 9/4, that provides 10 slabs or 10 cuts. So you can see where I'm at right now at 20. I wouldn't really hit anything, so I can come down to the next increment, which is going to be 18, and that should get us into the meat of this thing. So normally when I'm cutting slabs, I'm typically referencing off the top of the log coming down. This scale references off the beds, you're referencing off the bottom up. That's the biggest difference there. So there's 18 on the 4/4 scale. That gets us there, which is actually not that far in. So I can cut there, and we would end up with basically a slab or a cut that probably will exit in here somewhere, and then it'd be bark. So that's not much meat there at all. So what I could do if I wanted to is I can come down to 17. I could make a 4/4 board or a 4/4 thick slab, and then come down and make my initial cut for a piece of 9/4. Yeah, I'm just gonna go all the way, I think. I can always put it back on here and saw it again. I got a bunch of other small stuff which I could get some thinner stuff out of, but for the interest of getting this thing into a stack, it's a lot easier when they're all kind of the same, and this first cut's going to go on the bottom, so I want the bottom to be at a pretty good thickness. So that's going to be right around there, and looks like I will exit out into the crotches. As you can see, the crotches are lower than down here because I got some flare down here. So I should end up with a cut that comes down the entire length of the log and gives me a full length slab. So that's where the cut's going to be. Let's go for it. Ooh. It's wood. That didn't even go all the way to the top of those crotches, so I might flip it over again and make this the top of the stack just to make it a little cleaner for the stacking. That way I have actual bearing over those crotch limbs down there, because right now they're floating. So if I make that the bottom of the stack, there'd be nothing there supporting that end of the log as it's drying. So I'm gonna roll it over, and then this will be the first slab down here. We're on the scale now though, so it doesn't make a difference which side we start on. It's already divided up into, what did we do, 8? Yeah, it's already divided up into 8 even slabs. So it doesn't matter which way we go.
All right, let's see what we got slab one here. So pretty uneventful. We got, the staining coming in from the end grain down there. Clear white sapwood down through here. Looks like maybe a little bit of figure over there or something. And then we got this pretty cool void with this bark inclusion going on here. And then back to some more stain up there. So there we go. There's the first one. All right, this one looks a little better, a little more interesting. There we go. Now we're getting to the better stuff. Oh yeah, okay. So we are getting into a bit of the heartwood here, so you can see a little bit of color shift to red, which I prefer to the stark white sapwood. And this bark inclusion is looking pretty cool. I'm liking what's going on around here. This is pretty cool looking. I'm liking that. But this is what I really love. Just gotta sit for a while. Oh, that's cool. Getting better. This one looks like it's getting a lot better.
Oh, yeah, yep. And I'm kind of liking this bar conclusion now. I know it's not crotch figure, but it's cool with the ant cavities in there. It's not totally solid. It's got little cavities. You got a nice little old limb here that was pruned, and all the resulting figure around there. Through the middle, pretty clear. I got a nice bit of heartwood here, and then we got a little bit more figure and color down on the end grain there. I like this one. So far, that one is my favorite. So we got a few more cuts to make on here, so let's get back to sawing. I think we found the actual colony now. Came right out of this hole. All right, a few more cuts. Okay, we're down to our last even number. So that should be the last 9/4 slab in the stack. And you can see it evenly divides out that whole log into however number of even pieces. We got slab number 4. Here we go. Whew. The wind took that one. This is cool. We got some beautiful figure here in this bark inclusion. That is where the other limb is starting to come through as we're getting to that point. We do have the structural defect here that goes all the way up and goes into our ant caverns. And we do have a little bit of figure. We got a little bit of that crotch figure around that bark inclusion up here. But you can see the colors are starting to get a little more exciting. So this is cool, like really cool. The flyby. Oh, I like that one. Trick shots, slab edition. Man, that is pretty. So we have this really nice bark inclusion here with all the figure that surrounds it and all the color and all the greatness and all the fun stuff that's happening down here. And then we get up here, we get the defects with some figure around the bark inclusion. And then the colors are just starting to come to life. Very nice. Very, very nice. I've been so excited that I have neglected to get any measurements here. So I got exactly 24 down through here at this bulge, 25.5 at this kind of narrow band here. This is 23. And then our splay is 34. So pretty darn good. What is it, 8 something? 9 footers. All right. It's actually a bigger log than I thought it was. Like a lot bigger. That is cool. Now we're starting to get that limb as it was coming this way. That's kind of an odd shape overall, but it's pretty cool. It has gotten so windy today. It was pretty calm this morning. It's like the walk by drizzle move or something. So there's that bullseye effect with this bark inclusion. That's cool. I love the reds. And then down here we got a nice swirling of colors as the staining starts to work its way into the log from the end grain. And we have our nice inclusion with our figure all around here. Gorgeous. This area is super cool. And then down here we again have some staining coming in from the end grain, transforming that white into more of a vibrant palette of colors. Whew. Number 6. Oh, I like you. Okay, number 7, show us what you got for us. Oh, number 7. Oh, you got some bird's eye, number 7. Ooh. So we're getting back towards the outside of the tree, a lot more the whitish sap. We got our bullseye here, and then down here at our bark inclusion, we have a little bit of bird's eye here and there. So we got a few little eyes dotting the whole area up here. And that's about it for this one, since we're getting kind of towards the outside. We got this one last one to go on there, and there's probably not going to be much in that slab, at least on the flip side. It'll be pretty narrow. All right, number 8, show us what's up. Actually pretty nice. So there is what we got going on number 8. Again, staining creeping in from the end. We got some fun blues and other assorted things happening down here. in the middle, and then we get up here to the very start of our bark inclusion defect thing, and that's where it all starts and gets bigger as we go down through the log. Having this limb here off the side is also kind of a fun, cool detail. So that's it for this log. Definitely cool to see how that staining kind of starts at this phase and only gets crazier and wilder from there. You know, a lot of the silver maple I've cut in the past has been sitting for an extended period of time, and that's what gives it that really awesome, vivid color and depth to the whole wood and everything. A lot better than that standard commercial maple. That's the interesting thing about maple, is like you really need to cut it fairly soon if you want to keep that traditional commercial grade quality where you have that very white, very blonde wood. And the longer you let it sit, the more it blues and the more it's going to degrade, at least from a commercial sense. But for me, and all the interesting things and the colors and the grains and everything, I actually like that degradation. I think it's actually a positive. So that's I don't know, it's kind of an interesting thing with maple. You know, you want to get it cut, make it white, or you want to make it sit and make it colorful, or you want to be somewhere in the middle, like this is. So we'll compare kind of how this looks to how the actual trunk of the tree looks in the future. And I'm expecting it to look all like it does on the ends here where that staining is starting to come in. So it'll be a little while, but we'll be back and cut up that giant log sometime in the future. So that is going to do it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on sawing, whatever, or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.